Fossilization refers to the process in which incorrect language becomes a habit and can't easily be corrected. Also, a stage of fossilization can obstruct learners' development in restructuring his or her interlanguage. Another thing that is important to take into account is that a fossilized error may never be corrected unless the learner sees a reason to do. However, when the learner fossilizes the way in which some features of the language was acquired don't change anymore. So the learners don't see any error and they don't correct themselves even if they are receiving feedback. In addition, there are some causes of fossilization that involves internal and external factors. Some internal factors that involve fossilization are the age and the social and psychological factors. The age is because the age of the learners, when the students are over 12 years old, their brains lose plasticity. And about the social and psychological factor, refers to the interests of the learners, so the teacher must encourage them. Well, now I'm going to talk about the external factors. The first one is the communicative pressure. This refers to the pressure that the learners feel when they want to communicate ideas. Another factor is the lack of the learning opportunity. This refers to the lack of the uses of language in the daily life. And finally, we have the feedback. This feedback is divided in positive feedback and negative feedback. When the teacher gives a positive feedback, even if the students are committing mistakes, their interlanguage formation stops. But when the teacher gives a negative feedback, it could help avoid fossilization.
Once we have reviewed the fossilization and its causes, it is important to review the types of fossilization that might exist in a second language learning process. So, the first one is related to the morphological fossilization that derives the word formation and how the situation, specifically a topic in English, can fossilize in a wrong way. Students that are learning English commonly do not know how to use the morpheme S, and they are going to have mistakes because of the third person in singular. The second type is phonological fossilization, in which students commit errors in the pronunciation. It is important to let them know how to pronounce correctly, specifically using the IPA chart. This chart has the correct pronunciation of each phoneme. Well, they usually do not know how to pronounce a word correctly, and they incur in making errors when pronouncing. The third type of fossilization is the syntactic one. This consists in the meaning and the arrangement of words that can have different syntactic rules. So in the many languages, because of the syntactic rules, students do not decide the right kind of tense they are going to use in a specific situation, especially in communicative situations. So they cannot make a clear distinction between present progressive and present perfect usage. The fourth type of fossilization is the semantic one. This has to do with the meaning that has a sentence. students that are learning a second language, the target language in this case is English, may incur in creating sentences using the L1 rules. And as we know, English has specific rules and exceptions. So the students could commit errors like they are going to say as always instead of as usual. That is the correct form. This happens because the semantic fossilization. The last kind of fossilization is the pragmatic one. In this case, depending on the beliefs, their thoughts, their culture, and based